Hello there, everybody. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. I'm the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, creator of Dream Business Academy, founder of No Hassle Newsletters, my extraordinary done for you newsletter program that has served over 1,200 small business owners in 9 countries. Well, that would be nine. And most importantly, today, I am the host of Dream Business Radio. Now in its 10th year, this is episode 524, and they said it wouldn't last. Welcome to another fantastic live edition of Dream Business Radio. My special guest is Tracy Beavers. Tracy, how are you doing today?
I am doing really well. I'm excited to be here, and so far you're cracking me up.
Oh my goodness. Well, we don't know what we're going to do because I generally just like to have a good time and share good information. That's my formula. But as I shared with Tracy just a couple of minutes ago in the green room, which is not green at all, I said I usually do these at 3, and then I have a couple more. But I've been like calls all day long. I'm a little tired, so you never know what's going to come out. But I told Tracy you're going to have to carry the ball on this one.
No
So
worries.
it's going to be fun. It's going to have lots of value, some good information. That's what this is all about. So, real quick, folks, this episode of Dream Business Radio is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you're an entrepreneur or small business owner who's tired of slow to no growth in your business, if you're feeling overwhelmed, unfocused, and especially, I always say especially, if you'd like to learn how to create multiple streams of revenue in your business, then you want to be part of this extraordinary virtual mastermind led by me, Captain Jim Palmer, usually more serious than I am now, the Dream Business Coach. You can learn more at dreambizcoaching.com. That's dreambiz coaching.com. Oh, let me just give a real quick plug to this course. So if you're listening on a replay or sometime in the future, this will have passed. But if you're listening to it live or in the next 2 weeks, and it is October 5th for your reference, I have launched a course on how to create a lucrative virtual mastermind group. In this program, I'll show you exactly the steps I took to create my program in 2009. It's been my main program. It's really been responsible for this amazing dream lifestyle that we've been able to live. And you can find details about that program at Lucrative Virtual Mastermind. I think I got a link there, lucrativevirtualmastermind.com. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Tracy, and we will dive right in. Tracy Beavers is a business and sales coach from the great state of Arkansas. She has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years with everything from overcoming the fear of sales to growing their business visibly through organic marketing strategies, which I think is how I titled this interview. So we're definitely going to touch on that. She walks hand in hand with her clients, providing them with a roadmap of clear action steps so they can put their blinders on and confidently get to work. Tracy says that building your business does not have to be a struggle, and she can show you how to do it with ease. I'm going to ask her about that ease part. Tracy is a wife, a mom of 2 young adults, and a dog mom also. She's a public speaker, a published author. She's been featured on top business podcasts, including Dream Business Radio, and has been a regular contributor on one of her hometown's premier TV shows. And I think that's enough of an introduction. Tracy, how you doing today? Welcome to
Doing
Dream
great.
Business Radio.
Thanks so much. You made me sound so important. I love it.
It's so funny when, because I don't do a lot now, but there was a point where I did about 300 interviews in about 2 to 2.5 years. And it's like, who wrote that? Oh yeah, I
Right.
guess me and my team did. But
Who
you
is that
hear all that and
person?
you go, well, really? Did I do all that? So it's kind of funny, but welcome to the show. I'm
Thank
going to do
you.
my best to act mature and civilized and somewhat of a successful business
Please
owner.
don't do that.
Oh, okay, cool. So the question I usually ask, so I should tell you that now 10 years, 500 episode 524, what I hear time and time again, Tracy, is that my listeners love the tips, the strategies, what works, what doesn't, but they also love the inspirational stories because at any point,
Mhm.
everybody's going through some successes, some failures, some crap. They're worried. They're having as I described in my book, Decide, the 3 a.m. holy crap moment. So
Yeah.
they love to hear stories of how people have come through it and things like that. So my very long first question is, are you a first generation entrepreneur? Did you maybe have some parents or grandparents who showed you the way? Or let's hear a little bit about your journey so far.
Yeah. I think you're going to love this. So I'm
Okay.
actually a second generation entrepreneur that I know of. Um, so my dad is a retired architect.
Okay.
And early on in his career, he realized he just didn't want to work for anybody else. And so he went out on his own. Now, my mother's father was in sales, worked for a company. That's where I think I get my sales genes
But even
from.
if you're in sales working for a company, you are an entrepreneur because
Yes.
every Monday or the first of
Mhm.
every month is zero time,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It was eat what you kill.
Yeah.
And, I come from a family of artists also. They were artist creators and they sold their art. They were, out there doing the entrepreneurial thing. Here's what's interesting.
Okay.
My father made it look so painful that there was no way in heck I was going to have my own business.
Oh my gosh.
I did not want to be self-employed. I thought people who were self-employed were out of their mind. I mean, it just looked like a hustle and a grind and a struggle. And, bless his heart, he was successful and took care of us, but not on the scale that I think he wanted. And I
Mm.
just saw how hard he worked and I thought, I don't think I want to do that. And so I got here through years of corporate
Okay.
stuff.
Corporate
So
grind.
yeah, because I was raised in that generation where you graduate high school, you go to college, you graduate, you get the W-2 job, and you work for that company for 40 years, and then you get a retirement party, a cake, a pension, and a gold watch.
Mm.
Well, somewhere along the way, in around 2005, that started to change rapidly, and corporations started talking about downsizing and restructuring and all this other stuff. And I literally was downsized out of my first ever job right out of college.
Mm.
And I called my mom and I was like, "This isn't anything anybody told me. They told me to get the job, suck it up, Buttercup, do the job even if you hate it, and then you're going to have a retirement and a pension." And so it fast forward through lots of toxic bosses, lots of a CEO who did not understand how to motivate a sales force. This was
Okay.
super irritating. So I was working for a company, and they asked me a business development marketing role for a title insurance company. They had they had very little market share, not zero, but practically zero here in our area. And they needed somebody to come in and get them on the map. I grew them 86% the first year I was there.
Wow.
And the CEO had the nerve to tell me that I was making too much money. He didn't think I was going to be that successful. And he was going to change around the comp plan to benefit him and the company. And I was like, no, I'm not, I can't stay here. So you get downsized and then you got a couple toxic bosses or some coworkers that are like drama filled. And it just, I kept bumping my head up against the corporate swimming pool, just like, why is this not working? Why am I always feeling like I'm not in control of my time and I'm not controlling my money? And so years ago, some really good friends of mine, I was in a mastermind with a group of women, and we were talking about how do we want the rest of our life to go?
Mm.
And I said, I'd really like to work for myself. And I'm really good in sales. People come to me all the time asking for advice and asking me how I've been so successful in sales. And they were like, you know what? You'd make a really great business coach. And I thought,
Wow.
is that a
You
thing?
know, what's interesting is that, well, first of all, I have to take note. You didn't run through the glass ceiling. You bumped your head on the swimming pool. I don't know if that's an Arkansas term or what. I've never heard that. I bumped my head on the swimming
Well,
pool.
have you ever heard that, like when you're parenting your child and you say to them, okay, you can keep bumping your head on the swimming pool all you want, or you can listen to me and I can tell you how to not
Oh,
make this
that's where
mistake
that
anymore.
comes from.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just keep bumping your head on it. You keep making mistakes.
Yeah, but as you're telling your story, I mean, a really great friend of mine worked in the printing business, and he just started at the bottom. It turns out, I mean, he's an amazing salesperson, a
Mhm.
rainmaker extraordinaire, and I mean, he took that company almost single-handedly to high. But then the CEO got the nose out of joint that he's making like way more than I am,
Mhm.
and so he left and started his own company. It's like, I mean, kind of dumb, but
Yeah.
so I was checking out your website, by the way,
Oh boy.
and I just know we're gonna have a great conversation. For goodness sakes, it's almost 10 after already, so I'm gonna pack a lot in. But I see, in addition to helping people with sales, etc., that you're also a coach. And
Mhm.
among other things, I was reading that you help people become more confident
Mhm.
entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And as I talk to clients and prospects, it's like I don't put myself out there as a mindset coach, but you quickly learn as you're working with clients, you got to fix the mindset before they'll do the
Yes.
strategy. So
Exactly.
mindset's always something, was it always something you were interested in, or
Mhm.
like me, did you see it as a way to help your clients? If you understand my question.
I do, I do.
Okay.
Mindset has always been something that's been on my mind,
Okay.
a pun intended. But you're exactly right. And that development of Be a Confident Entrepreneur came about because I was doing a lot of market research on top of working with clients one-to-one. And there was this common thread through everything. And it didn't matter if it was their time management, their pricing, their confidence in their price, their confidence in their sales process, their ability to network and follow up, their ability to combat the fears and that overwhelm that wants to creep in.
Hmm.
All of that stuff together, the common thread for all of that is confidence.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but here's the thing that's challenging. If I said to them, well, it sounds like you're not very confident as an entrepreneur, they'd be like, no, 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 I'm confident. I just need help with time management. And I'm like, yes and no. So that's
Yeah.
a really good case of give them what they want, then you give them what they need.
That's right.
So I say, sure, I can help you with your time management. And along the way, I'm going to help them be confident, especially as women. When we are taking care of kids and husbands and dogs and parents and all the things, we tend to put everyone else before ourselves. And they're not confident in their ability to structure their day with boundaries and stick to it and say no. And that no is a complete sentence, and know what to do when they've mapped out their schedule for the day and something comes in to try to derail it. They need to have confidence knowing they know what to do in that moment to not let their schedule get derailed
That's
completely.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's
that's how that came
interesting.
about.
Okay, cool. So, it- part of, I think, what makes me a good coach today is all the crap that I had to go through in my own business. Right. So,
Yep.
certainly not somebody who just everything he touched turned to gold, not by a long shot. But what's interesting to me is that so many of the hangups that I had originally in the early years, my expression was, I am going to be successful, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to do all those things because all those things were hard. And I'm
Yes.
talking about writing books, being a speaker, putting on your own live events, doing all your video, going on camera live, doing all that stuff. It was and is difficult for people, but it wasn't
Mhm.
until I really kicked all the demons and stuff to the curb that I accelerate. So now as a coach, nobody can hide from me, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's just, I just love the whole mindset piece. But
Mhm.
having said that, I titled this presentation, Tracy, grow your business through organic marketing. So what are some of the ways that
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners can market and grow their business in general, but specifically with, I guess, what we would call low to no cost organic
Yes.
strategies?
Yes, exactly. I teach free strategies.
Okay.
And the reason why this was born out of talking about mistakes. Whew, this was born out of my mistake of trying to use paid ads with Facebook last year. I ran ads twice to a launch that I was doing, and I might as well have piled up my money and set it on fire.
Oh
That's
my
how much
goodness.
results I got out of it. And I had even hired an expert, somebody that came highly recommended from a very high wealth coach, and I was just a dismal failure. And so I thought, okay, Tracy, in the last 7 years, you've built 3 successful businesses. You've never run one ad. Why the heck do you think you have to do this now to be successful? Go back to doing what works.
Mm,
Why are you getting distracted with this? And so then I was like, okay, you know what? More people need to know about this, because I kept hearing from people in groups I was in and forums I was in and masterminds I was in, but my paid ads are not working, or I'm scared to run paid ads, or I don't know where I should put my money. And I was like, hold on, people. Why don't we exhaust all the free stuff before we ever start paying for
mm.
things? Ever. And so that's what I teach. And there's so many ways that you can get visibility for your business without spending any money. And it comes back to social media
Mhm.
and all the strategies that I teach. All the roads lead back to the email list growth, because what I teach is and you know this, the email list is really the only thing we own. We don't own Facebook,
That's
Instagram,
right.
LinkedIn,
They can
all
go
that
away
stuff.
tomorrow.
We can all disappear tomorrow. And I've got to have a way to still connect old school, if you will, with my
Mhm.
clients. I don't have their addresses because nobody gives out their address anymore. So I can't reach them by mail. And I don't have their cell phones, but I have their email address and I can still reach them. And so what I teach is every single thing you do, from foundational pieces that don't sound important, like maxing out your Facebook personal profile and your Facebook business page profile, that simple thing, I can teach you how that leads to your email list growth. Having your own Facebook group.
Wait, are you saying the header for the group, or just the things that you're posting, or all of it?
So on my Facebook personal profile, the way my profile grows my group is, if you look at my Facebook personal profile right now, I'm at Tracy Lane Beavers. You're going to see my cover photo is advertising my free Facebook group.
Okay.
And it says, click here. When you click on it, I have the description box opens up. A lot of people don't know that about the cover photo.
It's the description box for the photo, because the header is a photo, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you click on it, a description box is going to open up. I've got all the reasons why you should join my group, the what's in it for you to join my group, plus the link to join my group. Then I go down further and I say, would you like to create 90 days of social media content in 30 minutes? Click here for that training. Would you like to learn how to sell without selling? Click here for that training. So that personal profile directly goes into my Facebook group growth, which when you go to my Facebook group, my 3 membership questions are set, and I'm asking for your email. I'm saying, did you grab my free guide for 90 days of social media content in 30 minutes? If you didn't, no worries. Leave your email here and I'll get it for you. Would you like to be on the wait list for when my course reopens in January 2023? Yes, leave your email here and I'll put you on the wait list. And so the personal profile directly goes into the Facebook group or the lead magnets that I have there, where they'll land on my email list. And the Facebook group goes into the email list. So it can
one way or another, they're going on the email list.
One way or another, every strategy I use, every organic strategy takes them to a road that it might take a couple of steps, but it's going to lead to that email list. The direct messages is another strategy I teach. A lot of people say to me, I want to learn how to have authentic conversations in the DMs that actually lead somewhere. I can teach them how to do that.
Wait, are you telling me there's such a thing as an authentic conversation in DMs?
Yes,
you're gonna have to prove, because I mean, I don't know.
Shock.
I know. I mean, I'm very big in Facebook, and there's people requesting. So if you're an entrepreneur, I say yes. And then LinkedIn, I generally say yes if you're a small business owner. But if somebody says I'm a high ticket closer or blah, 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 I'll say yes. And like half a second later, Jim, have you ever thought of going into coaching? We'd like to show you how to create a mastermind. I'm like, what in God's name?
Right.
I mean, it's obviously just spamming, and it must, to some degree, it must work because they continue to do it. So if you spam the hell out of 10,000 people, you talk to 10 and 2 become clients. I guess that works.
I guess.
But that is so icky to me.
It's awful. And I think that's a LinkedIn. That happens to me on LinkedIn 9 times out of 10. And I think it's a setting they have. It's like the minute you accept their thing, they send that message. But on Facebook, for example, if I'm in a group and it's a group of like-minded people, I'm going to friend some people in that group. And because I love to network and I love to meet people. And that's really the only way we can grow our businesses online, is by actually networking online.
I need to ask you a question, and I don't want to say what I don't like in case this is what you do, but no, I will just come out and say it. Yeah. So you accept somebody's friendship on Facebook, and then the next thing is, hey Jim, how you doing today? I mean, in a way that's genuine. It could be, but it's also like you don't just interject yourself like that.
No,
that's my feeling.
Right. That's not what I'm doing. So you and I are in a group together. Let's say we're in a membership group, or we're in
Build Your Dream Business Now. Let's just pull that one out.
Yeah. And so I am wanting to network with people because I'm looking for people to be guest experts in my Facebook group.
Okay.
I'm looking for people that I can collaborate with. I'm not going to be a buy my stuff kind of gal. I want to get to know you, and I want to offer you an opportunity to come to my Facebook group if it looks like a good thing for your business. Okay. And so I would connect with you, send you a friend request, you accept it, and I'm not going to jump on you immediately. I will wait, 10-ish, 18, 24 hours, and I'll just send you a DM that says, hey, Jim, so fun to connect through the XYZ Facebook group. How are things where you are? And if it says where you live in your profile, I'll say, how are things in California, Wyoming, wherever you are. Now, then you're gonna respond back or not. But most people, when I say, great to connect with you through XYZ group, I've had some really great connections this week with people in the group. Everybody seems to be very like-minded, very kind, whatever. And then now I've only had one person out of hundreds in the past few months that has been ugly to me. And she literally, like, bless her heart, as we say in the South, I think too many people had cold spammied her that week. And she came at me guns blazing, like, I can't believe you just spammed me, blah, 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 blah. And I replied back to her and I said, no, ma'am, I'm not spamming you. I like to make connections with people that I'm in groups with. If that's not your thing, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect our friend request. Yep. And that way my assistant and I don't make the mistake of reaching back out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Wish you
Did
all
she
the best.
reply or not? Or you just
No.
disconnected?
I just disconnected. And then I went and blocked her because I didn't want to make the same mistake of, I don't want that kind of person in my world anyway.
Yeah. Negative energy.
Yeah.
I used to have this much tolerance, but if somebody like does that, if they, crap in your corner, a bad expression, or if they do something, I don't even have time to check. Did you mean to say it? Was that you? No, boom, gone.
Yeah.
It's like you have, it's all about protecting your mindset for one thing. It's also about protecting your space and your energy. So we're at 21 after the hour. And I've been doing this for 500 episodes. You'd think I'd learn to ask this off the air, but I'm going to ask on the air because I forgot. Can we go maybe 5 minutes? So it's a little bit longer, or do you have trick-or-treaters coming? I see you're looking back there.
I'm ready. I am ready for Halloween, Jim.
Okay.
Ready. No, the only thing I've got going on is my husband and our grandpuppy may be coming home in about 40 minutes. But
no. I can't go that long. I'll say something highly inappropriate, most likely. So we're talking about DMs, which are Phil, there's just up on me.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've got
energy vampires. Yes.
Yeah, energy vampires. That's right, Peg. Get them out of your life. So we're talking about DMs now. There's DMs obviously in Facebook, but I always think of that DMing world as in LinkedIn. So what is an appropriate way to leverage LinkedIn, or was that pretty much what you were just giving us, or do you have something else there?
I actually don't use LinkedIn. I have my assistant posts my social media on LinkedIn as a piece of social proof, but my demographic is on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And so I do find a struggle on LinkedIn with people who actually want to make a connection. It is the strangest thing. I've tried. And when they send me a cold spammy DM, bless their heart, I just want to try to save them. And if I try, they get irritated. And I'm just like, okay, never mind. I'm not even going to try.
About 5 minutes ago, Tracy, you were telling a story about how you tried to do, I think it was paid Facebook ads, pissed away some money. It didn't work. And then you said, well, why don't I come back and do what does work? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
For some reason, a little voice in my head said, that's very similar to if you find something that works, do more of it.
Yes.
There was a marketing lesson. I don't know if this goes back to like the 30s or whatever, 1930s, but one word like revolutionized this entire industry and just jack profits through the roof. I don't know if you remember this story. I read tons and tons of marketing books, and I was fascinated when I read this. What's that one word? And the word was repeat. So up to that point on the shampoo bottle, it said lather and then rinse. And then somebody said, let's add the word repeat. So people use shampoo twice as much. Lather, rinse, repeat. You don't really need to shampoo your head twice in one.
You don't?
But what?
Just kidding.
But it's funny that, so first of all, there's a nice little lesson there. But the word repeat, just keep doing what's working. In fact, do more of it and tweak that instead of, burning some $100 bills over there in Facebook land.
For sure.
So the other thing I wrote down is, a lot of I think you described your head and all these different things are leading to one main goal, get them on the email lists, right?
Yes.
So one of the things I used to teach when I was out speaking as the newsletter guru was you want to use online and offline together. They complement each other. So because this newsletter service I sell is a print and mail, paper and ink newsletter. Well, use that to say, hey, if you enjoy this monthly newsletter, you can get some quick tips every Friday. Get on our email list. And by the way, if you have just an email list, you go, by the way, if you're loving these quick tips every Friday, you'd like to get a free subscription to our print and mail newsletter. They'll show up in the mailbox at the foot of your driveway. Go here. And there's a link to the website. So you can use both online and offline to help grow each other, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
you're
exactly.
all right.
Yeah, you just kind of have to think through the strategy. Where can I send them next? When someone grabs one of my free trainings, at the end of that, it's going to be information about me. And if you loved this, come join my free Facebook group. Where can
There
you
you
send
go.
them next?
CTA, call to action. You should be doing that all the time.
Hmm.
So you had I was checking, you got a very good blog page on your website, by the way, lots of good stuff. One of them I think was like 5 or 6 easy steps on how to write emails that get open. Can you think of
Yes,
1 or 2 tips to share?
absolutely. I can. That's one of my most popular trainings that I've done because I find writing easy. I love to write. I'm told that I'm a good copywriter because when my clients and I get together, I'm spitballing ideas about lead magnets and emails and subject titles and all that. But surprisingly, kind of like sales, I'm good at that, but not everybody is. Apparently, I'm good at email writing, but not everybody is. So, what I tell people is this: I want you to write that email in your own voice. I
Hmm.
want you to stop trying to write the college essay. Forget English teachers, plug your ears. Forget what you learned in high school and college. We are not doing the intro, the 3 paragraph points, and the outro paragraph. That is not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're having a conversation that happens to be put in writing on a page. That's
Right.
it. So I want you to pretend that Jim and I are at the coffee house and we're having this conversation, and I want to give him 3 tips for time management. And so I'm going to say, "Hey, Jim," I'm not going to say, "Hey, everybody." I'm going to talk to one person, not everybody in the room. Because if I say, "Hey, everybody," or I say, "Hey, Jim," which one sounds better to you? "Hey, Jim" sounds better. And so I'm going to say, "Hey, Jim," and I'm going to say, "Dang, it's been a freaking long week here at the Beavers house," or "Have you ever had your dog throw up in the middle of your master class?" or something that you would normally say if you were to see that person, right?
Mm.
And then
Yep.
you go into somehow segue it into the point you're trying to make, and you get out and you make the emails skimmable. People are not, if I open up an email and it is a big paragraph, holy crap, my brain goes, "I don't have time for that. I'm not going to read that right now." So we have to put some white space. And literally the way I write my emails would probably drive my college professor crazy, but it's like line, space, line, space,
Air it
line,
out.
space, air it out. Because I want people on a small little bitty phone to be able to go, "Oh yeah, okay, I got it. I got what she's saying." And remember that also the subject line, the title, is vitally important to get them to open it.
Hmm.
Don't forget the PS and the PPS. Those are the
That's
most
right.
read parts of the email. And I
Yes.
literally sometimes will use the PS and I'll say, "Hey, if you're a skimmer, no shame in that game. Here's what I said in the email. Click here to join my group," or whatever. And then the
That's
PPS
right.
is the wait list is open for my group coaching program.
And if there is, yeah, PS and PPS are so important because people will scan, but they're always going to go to those. So if you do have a call to action and or some instructions you have up in the middle,
Hmm.
repeat them
Yes.
there.
Hmm.
Um, and it's
Exactly.
so interesting. Like I learned very early on when I started studying copywriting about conversational tone, which is easy for me because I
Me
just
too.
write. First of all, I never paid attention in typing class, so when I write, I'm doing this. But hey, I wrote 6 books doing this, right? But I'm writing as I'm talking,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Stream of consciousness.
that's right.
Yep.
And so people, if you're still curious about how this works, if Tracy and I were sitting in the coffee shop, I am going to lunch today. No, you say, "I'm going to lunch today." So
Hmm.
you have contractions. Now, sometimes in college writing courses, of which I know nothing about, they teach you very proper English
Very
and
proper.
proper writing style.
Right.
And the other thing along these lines, and that we'll start to wrap up here, is I had a client once, and I was helping them with their website, and I wrote a killer um, headline and subheadline.
Hmm.
The spouse of this client, very, very heavy in college degrees, said, "That's
Oh
not grammatically
no.
correct."
Right.
The person came back to me and said, "He's right. Mine is going to make you money."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Do you
oh,
want
do
to
you
be
want to
right
be,
or do you want to be rich?
yeah, do you want to be right or do you want to make sales?
Right.
Um, so, last question I have, and then we'll wrap up this. Actually, this was a fun fest with a lot of good content. I think
Good, I'm
everybody would
glad.
agree. How how can you make creating content easier? I was doing
Mhm.
a call, I think about an hour ago, and the guy said, "Man, I was checking everything." I said, How do you do all that? You're like a content machine." Well, first of all, I've been
Mhm.
doing it for a long time, so there is some repurposing, we'll call it.
Yes, is that
Um,
exactly.
but for somebody maybe starting out, or
Mhm.
that hasn't written 6 books of which you can pull blog posts out of, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
What are some strategies on how to make social media content easier?
Yeah, so that's a great question. This is something I hear from my clients. They're literally sitting in front of the computer and the cursor's just blinking and they're like, what the heck do I even say? So
Hmm.
here's what I suggest that has helped me. And this is the way my team and I craft our content. And it goes back to one of the things I mentioned. You can write 90 days of social media content topics in 30 minutes. And what I want you to do literally is think about your ideal client. What are the words they say? What are the emotions they say? The emotion words they say? How are they feeling? And then I want you to, and make notes on that, but then I want you to brain dump. If you can get to 12, that's awesome. If you can't, go for 5 or 6. Brain dump 5 or 6 to 12 things that you can speak about to help them, the content that you bring that you could talk about ad nauseum.
Mm.
Just you could push the live button and you could talk about it for 5 or 10 minutes without stopping. You know it like the back of your hand. And I guarantee you, you can come up with 12 or more. And so that is what I use to framework out all of my weekly live trainings. I have all the topics all mapped out for the next 90 days. That becomes my anchor piece. So pick your anchor piece. Just like you said, you could use your blog as your anchor piece or your book as your anchor piece. I use my weekly live training. I literally write out notes and a little script for my training, and I give that to my assistant. But back in the day when I didn't have an assistant, I would look at that script and the notes and I'd say, okay, what's a quote from me that I could quote me on a quote graphic that I want
Hmm.
to put on Instagram?
Good.
Tracy Beavers said, talk to one person when you're writing an email. Or the quote would be, when you're writing an email, remember you're talking to one person. Tracy Beavers, graphic quote. There's a piece of social media content. Then I take the 3 key points that I wanted to make. That turns into a business tips graphic. 3 simple tips to make your emails open faster or better or whatever. And then you just take what you already wrote, what you're already planning to say in your live. And then when you've got your live video, if you've got somebody that's good at this, you could chop that sucker up and pull out a couple of tips and repurpose that video all over the place. And
Wow.
then before you know it, you've got your content. So you're literally looking at your week. What's your topic? What are you going to use as your anchor piece? Then you're going to pull 3 to 4 pieces of other things from it to use in other places. And then you can take that and use it in your emails. So, like you said, a great email for me would be, hey, Jim, I went live yesterday in my Facebook group. If you missed the training, here's a link to it in my blog.
Yep.
And it's going to drive people to my blog, which is going to hit my Facebook pixel and the SEO and all that jazz. And, that's going to
And
be a
that's
great
it. I
thing.
mean, literally, that's the email.
Yeah.
Not every email has to be, 200 words. In fact, it shouldn't be. But it's interesting. So what you described is very similar to what I used to teach in the newsletter field. Is have an editorial calendar. It's the greatest thing to fight
Mhm.
that blank page. So, oh,
Yes.
my newsletter article's done. No, sit down and figure out what's the lead article from, say, the next 6 months or 12
Yeah.
months. And then you don't have to be worried about the idea. And as time
Mm-mm.
comes, write this one, write this one. So you got that. I like to say you got that one in the bank. So you don't
Yes.
you don't have to
Yes.
write that 2 days before it's due.
Right.
Um,
And as you're reading books and as you're listening to podcasts, you're going to get some other topic ideas. You just are. And so you go in and you throw them on your Google Sheet and you keep going. And here's the other thing though. If you get to that week and you're looking at the topic and you're going, I don't feel like writing about that. Well, tough love, too dang bad. You put it there. You need to stick with the program and stick with consistency.
that's right.
Put on your CEO britches and write the stuff.
There you go. Put on your CEO britches so you stop beating your head against the side of the pool. There we
Right.
go. Oh my gosh, Tracy, this was so much fun. I mean, the little voice in my head said, "What a great interview, Jim!" And I want to thank you for coming on. You shared some great stuff. So there's going to be a little test right here. I'm going to
Oh
see if
boy.
you actually practice what you preach. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to share your contact information. I'm sure people are loving the content. By the way, if you're loving this, and most people watch this on a replay, I'm fully aware of that. Put a hashtag replay, say thanks, Stacy, or Tracy. Don't say Tracy, say Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Ask a question. I'm sure she would come in and reply.
Yeah, I'd be
But
happy to.
but go ahead and how can people connect with you and learn more from you?
Yeah, thanks. And I would love to answer any questions anybody has. Nothing makes my heart happier than being of service and making someone else's life easier, because business building does not have to be a struggle. It does not, I promise. We can do it with ease. And when next time we get together, Jim, I'll teach you how to do that.
Okay.
But yes, my free Facebook group would be the best place to come meet with me. It's Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible and Grow Your Income. And you'll see my picture there. And just answer the questions, and you'll get some good free stuff as you come in. And then the thing about my Facebook group is it's a community. It is not the Tracy Beavers show. It is not a group for me to go in and say, buy my stuff, this is how great I am. I want people to come in and share. We've got website experts, LinkedIn experts, podcast experts, tech experts, thank God, because tech is not my love language. But we have all these people that have come in that have this vast knowledge of expertise, and I want them to promote themselves. I want them to say, hey, I'm Tracy Beavers, and I've got this workshop coming up. Would you like to join me? Click here. Or, hey, here's a great tech tip that I just learned by a mistake I made. And somebody else could post, is anybody a WordPress expert? I'm about to beat my head against the wall with this WordPress website building. And then somebody else can help them. And before you know it, everybody's helping everybody. We're cheering each other on. It's a really fun place to be, in my opinion. But
Awesome.
that's what I've built. I want it to be a community where people can come get support and get answers and get help, and then also toot their own horn, because we don't do that enough.
And what is the link for the people to go there?
It's a Facebook group, and it's Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible and Grow Your Income is the name of the Facebook group.
Wonderful. You passed the test, and if you watch the whole interview, you know why she passed the test, because there was the call to action, and she drove you to the Facebook group. And if you're smart and you go join her there, you're also more likely going to be encouraged to pick up her reports and things like that. So yes, you passed the test under immense pressure, I might add. What a fun interview, Tracy. Thank you so much for being my special guest today. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with my guest, Tracy Beavers. I highly recommend you connect with her, follow her, and learn from her. You can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com. If you're interested in joining about 27 other smart entrepreneurs in the Dream Business Mastermind group, go to dreambizcoaching.com. By the way, Lauren Roberts, good to see you, my friend. Hope we connect soon. Remember, folks, you can get free digital versions of all 6 of my books at Amazon in terms of Kindle, Barnes & Noble, which are Nook books. And they are also in the iBook store, completely free, part of my legacy building program. And remember, if you are interested in learning how to create a lucrative virtual mastermind, just like Captain Jim has done, go to lucrativevirtualmastermind.com. But that's it. Until this time next week, another fantastic interview. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. You take good care.